And my husband and I are sitting in the stands, and there's some people behind us, and I remember them saying, "What is she doing?"
No.
My husband and I turned around and was like, "I know, right?" Like we tried to act like we didn't even know who she was. Like she was not even our daughter.
I'm Dawn.
And I'm Camila.
We are the Middle-Aged Mamas.
All right, we're back with another episode of Middle-Aged Mamas. I got my girl Dawn and Camila here. We are here to bring you all the goods, the bad, the ugly of being mothers in our middle-aged
Mostly good,
ages.
Mostly good.
Yes.
So let's start off with some highs and lows.
I will start. So, a high for me is that I was super excited. It has been 2 months that I have not had a cycle.
What?
And I'm very regular. And I was thinking,
She said 2 months?
2 months, and I'm thinking,
great.
like, this is my 50th birthday present, like that I'm about to start menopause. But then yesterday, I was supposed to join you for your community yard sale, which I needed to do. I was so ready. I had all my stuff ready to go. And then alarm went off at 6, so I could be on my way here at 6:30, and my head was killing. It felt like somebody had their hand on top of my face, just pushing my head into the pillow. Like I couldn't even get my head up off the pillow. And I was like, this feels like a period headache, like PMS. Like this is,
And you got those frequently?
This is like my migraine headache when my period is about to start.
Oh, dang.
And so I didn't even want to go to the bathroom because I was thinking this better not be it. But sure enough, so that was my high, the excitement of 2 months without a period, thinking that was going to be my 50th birthday.
Why are we
gift.
Excited about going
Excited
into
about.
I know why.
Excited because I'm so over a period. Because at this point with like the perimenopause, I get that first day awful headache. Like some days I can't even go to work when it happens.
Dang.
And then my cycle is so heavy that I'm in like super tampons and a pad
at the same time.
and it's
this last time.
and it's like,
Wait a minute,
just
was
a
that
couple
part of your
hours.
period that was going on, and then it just switched, or?
yeah, this is new, like the last
Because she's never
few
been with
years,
2 months,
like,
and then
yeah, this is
No, but I meant
all
that
part of
popping.
Were your periods heavy when you were
No.
having just regular periods? Oh,
no.
dang.
So was it super heavy, Don?
Oh, super! I'm telling you, like super tampons and a pad
Maybe that's the finale.
at the same time. That's what I was. That's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping. I was like, because it's the heavy period, it's the headache, it's the cramps, like all of this
All together.
And then what started happening was it just started coming on like whenever, like no spotting first. I would just be at work in the middle of teaching, and I'll just feel like gush. And
That is
I'm
the
like,
worst.
oh my goodness, cover my class, let me run, and it would have just started. So that's what I'm so over, and I was so excited, but.
It happened again.
My low, I went to the bathroom and I was spotting a little bit yesterday, and I'm still spotting.
At least you had a
Yeah, and that's like the warning that I would typically have, and I was spotting a little bit today, and so it hasn't come on full blown. That's my low. That
You're not there yet.
it is still with me. It is still.
Isn't it crazy? The minute
is
we
still
know
with
we're
me.
done having kids, we do not want to deal with the period. We're like, how dare you?
So I know I don't need it anymore, and just all the stuff that comes with it. I'm over it.
But you're just so used to it because you've been having it since you've been 12, 13.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like torrential, you know what I'm saying, and horrible, I'm okay with it. But when you start getting into needing a super this and a super that, and it's lasting beyond a week, that's an issue for me. That happened to me this last time. It was just long. I was like, Lord, please.
And you're not even in perimenopause.
I don't think so. I was just like, how long is this gonna be?
Right. Mine won't last for a really long time. It'll be heavy like that for maybe 3 days, but it's
that's too long.
It's a
miserable. In and out in 3 days.
It's a miserable 3 days. So I'm I'm ret.
Well,
I'm
maybe
ret.
in the next 2 months.
Hopefully.
What you got, Camila?
Well, it's a high and a low for me, like combined. So you guys know my son. You know my son is the life of the party, and he's also like the kid in the office all the time.
Yeah.
So he got in trouble the other day at school on a field trip.
Where'd they go?
So they went to the movies to see Spider-Man. So this is even before the movie even got started. He's gonna kill me. But so at school, according to the principal, she's been talking to the boys specifically about like sexual innuendos and things that they just like randomly say out loud, just trying to be funny.
Wait, has
and
he
just,
had that class where they talk about the birds and the bees?
you
They
know
do that
what?
at
I don't
school?
think they've had that, but he and I have had that talk, so he knows.
But they didn't cover it in any curriculum?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not at his school, because it's a private school. And
Yeah.
I don't think they've done that.
Okay.
Not that it's a private school, but just I don't think they've done it.
That's not
Yeah,
their
because
thing.
the private schools get to kind of
They make their
pick
own
and
rules.
choose
Correct.
what they want.
What they're gonna do.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so I don't
So
think
they just
they've
glossed over it.
who the school.
Yeah, the school is not a part of their curriculum.
Correct.
Right.
So I don't think they've done anything.
Yeah.
I think it typically comes in middle school.
No, it's 4th and 5th grade. Because
Is
both of
it?
my kids missed it
Man.
because of the pandemic. And I was like,
Oh,
yes. I was so happy.
but
So
it,
I don't want-
Maybe
I
that's
don't
why
want all
Dee
them
missed it in the
shenanigans.
other school.
but they gloss
at fourth.
over it like it's not,
It's just
don't go
enough to
in
pique
depth.
their interest and to ask a bunch of questions.
or just about like puberty, like
Yeah.
if a girl's when she's going to start her period or when you start growing.
But
pubic
lately
hair.
it's a lot of masturbation too. Like it's
Oh,
okay
the-
to masturbate. Get to know your body.
Oh,
what feels good.
Is that,
Sex ed class?
is that
Yes.
added
Wow.
to it? And I'm sure
Yeah.
now they're talking about all of the pronouns
Yeah,
and the this
gender.
and that.
all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We doing that at work.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Pronouns.
Back to your story.
Right.
Anyways, that's another
right.
story. So this is even before the kids could get off the bus.
Oh man.
Dean, he says the bus was like rattling and the teachers are quieting the bus down. Everybody on the bus is quiet. And my son yells out, "Vibrator!"
How did I know that was coming?
Vibrator.
The bus was rattling
But why
like
did
a
he say
vibrator.
vibrator though?
Like a
vibration.
vibrator.
Right, but
No, but
But he
like
didn't
a
mean
vibrator.
vibrations.
no, honey.
He meant a
But
He
vibrator.
meant
How does
vibrator.
does
He does
touch a
not.
vibrator?
Honey, he don't.
does he know
He
what
don't
a
know nothing
vibrator
about at least I don't think he knows anything about a vibrator. But anyways, he yells out vibrator, and so he had to sit with the administration during the movie. After the movie was over, of course, they called me, sister. What they call the parents, sister.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes, Dean was on the bus and yada yada yada. Told me what happened. She said, "Would you like to talk to him? He needs to be talked to." And I was like, "Okay." And so she puts Dean on the phone, and I said, "Dean, why?" I don't. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
so anyways, that's the lowest part of the low. Okay, and so talking to the principal, he was already in jeopardy of losing the rest of his graduation fund with the rest of the kids. And so she gave him standards, something that they do at their school. And
Oh,
so,
they still do that old school.
Yeah, old school.
I will not.
Exactly. I will learn.
Your
Da,
wrist
da,
is-
da, da, da.
He gonna have the best
And you're
penmanship
right.
of all the kids.
That's
will,
right.
will. 'Cause you're trying to finish it.
Yes.
So, anyways, he.
I love some standards.
Well, their penmanship is better because these kids don't
Absolutely.
write anymore.
They type.
Right. So now he's
Type
gonna
and
have the
text.
best
They text.
penmanship.
She said the teacher said your handwriting's getting a lot better, Dean. He's had a lot of standards this year.
That is so funny.
Anyways, so
Did he have to spell out the word vibrator?
no inappropriate.
I will not use inappropriate language.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, anyways, the high and low part of it is, I decided to make an example out of this, and I took the major trip away. So he's not going to Universal Studios with the school, but.
Has he been before? Has he been before though?
Dean has had a pass after pass after pass after pass
has-
after pass after pass after pass.
So he has to feel it now.
Has he been there before?
Universal Studios? I don't think so. Yes, he has with
Yeah.
his dad
But
and his
this is
grandmother.
about impulse control for him.
It's about self-control.
And just to help you, when you ask the word why, their frontal lobe is not developed yet. So they don't have an answer for why ever.
I understand that.
They go off of feelings.
Yeah.
Especially a kid like that.
He's looking for the laugh.
Yeah.
He's looking for the laugh. He wants to be, Mr. Look at me.
Yeah.
I know his personality. And that's great. And I love that you love to make people laugh and feel good.
When is it appropriate?
But it's appropriate. And also, what do you, again, know about a vibrator? So this is what I did. I made him look up vibrator on my phone. I said, now tell me what that says. He was so ashamed. He couldn't even read what it was and all that stuff. I was like, so if you're ashamed to even to see this and read this, why would you yell that out in a
I wonder where that
school?
even came
I don't
from.
know. I said, do you know anyone that has this? Do you know who's talking about this? I don't know. No, I don't. No, I don't. Anyway, so to me, that was a high for me as a parent, because it was hard for me to take that away from him and teach him a lesson, which I think he needed to learn. Because I was like, now you all those kids, they were laughing at you. It was funny at the time. I said, but guess what? They still going to Universal Studios. What are you doing?
Right.
You at home. You're not able to do any of the fun stuff that they're going to do.
Right.
And so that was a high low for me, but hopefully the high for him will be that he learns that lesson the hard way. Because I always tell him, Dean, you don't want to learn these lessons the hard way. You don't want to. And so this for him, I think, was a hard lesson, because the teacher gave him back my check because I had already paid for it. Wow. And she told him to hand it to me. And he was like, I was like, hey, what's going on? When I picked him up, he was like, oh, I just realized that I'm not going on the trip. I was like, but you knew that? He was like, yeah, but
kudos for you.
Now I feel it.
Because I know that was very hard.
It was difficult.
Nowadays, people don't want their kids to feel anything. They always want them to be happy.
And I feel that way too. I feel that way too.
Yeah, but as parents, it's our job to have those uncomfortable moments, because they're kids and they're developing. Right. And when they're an adult, they don't have to deal with some of the stuff that they'll run into if we don't handle it now. Right. So I commend you, even though that's even hard to hear.
It was hard because, I mean, it's just Leslie's there, my cousin, but he and we're in the house together, and whatever he's feeling, it's bouncing off of me. I feel the tension, when he doesn't want to talk or when he has an attitude, because of something that I feel like I had to do. Yeah. But hopefully it's a lesson that,
and there will be more trips.
And there will be more trips.
Yeah. And he'll always remember that.
And he will remember that. Let me tighten my stuff up.
Yeah, because my mom
so next time. Yeah.
Right.
That's so true.
That's my low, high, low.
Yeah. My low is my two little ones who just turned 13. Their voices are cracking. And it is upsetting me.
Why?
Because
they're not your babies.
I know, but it's something
anymore.
about when you have a bunch of kids. Your older ones, you just kind of expect to get older.
Yeah.
Everything is fun. Everything's exciting.
You mean it's the ending of the baby stage? Is that what it is?
I know they're not babies, but the older two, it's fun to watch the change because it's the first time. Mm-hmm. And the little ones who bring up the caboose, it's weird when they catch up. And
because it's like the finale?
No, not the finale, but just them having deep voices is weird to me. Yeah. And I'm like, can you ask me that without the deep voice?
Right.
They're like, Mom.
Right.
Or they are.
Well, I did not mention this to you one time before. I was like, somebody's voice is super deep.
Yes, and I did not like it.
I was in denial. I would say, will you stop with that fake deep voice, please?
Fake.
I would just call it fake because everything is fake. They tell me I'm fake when I don't do what they want me to do. So I'm like, will you please stop with that fake deep voice, please?
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm like, just take your voice down. Wait till they're like, Mom. And you're like, it's jarring.
Yeah. Is it just all of a sudden?
No, it's been the last couple months, but lately when they're even arguing, you're like, stop! Like the voices in the house are just, they're not little. They're officially not little kids. Right. They are young adults who have opinions of their own.
Right.
It's weird. So that's a low to me, and it's going to take a minute to adjust.
It is very weird. And my son too, he won't even be like Mom. He'd be like Lil D.
Lil D, he calling you
Lil D. He has all these nicknames.
Little D.
I don't know when he's
taller than you.
I don't know when he's called me Mom. He has all these different variations of nicknames for me. He'll use either D for Dawn.
How long has he been doing that?
This has probably been, gosh, at least 6 months.
Oh my God.
At least.
Well, at least you're not bro.
At least. I was for a while, but he will either use like versions of my first name or my middle name and have like all of this.
I like that though.
Yeah, so my middle name starts with a T, so he'll call me like Lil T, T-Lo.
But that just means love. I give everybody a nickname.
Lil
like
T,
literally everybody has a nickname.
T-Lo, like some things I don't even know who he's talking to. I'm like, who are you talking to?
That's funny.
Taquisha, like
Not
just
Taquisha.
all.
That's when your neck is rolling.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what she got.
or he's like, what hood did you grow up in? Then he'll call me like Crip Nika, like all of these things. Like,
Man,
and
it's just clowning.
even if he's trying to act, if he's wanting something from me, I'll be like, Mom.
Yeah.
He'd be like, Lil T, you know who I'm talking, D-Lo, you know. Just, and
I like it though.
And Morgan calls me sis.
That's cute. That's funny.
Sis. So it's certainly something to get used to for
gosh.
sure.
Yeah, it's so
For
crazy.
sure. They're growing up so fast.
Yeah, no more little kids running around, but I'm enjoying the ride. And they say, you know, the work we put in when they were little, it's kind of what you're going to get it as teenage years. Mm-hmm. So, so far so good. We're enjoying it.
Absolutely.
But speaking of accolades, I have a question for my crew.
Yes.
So I saw a post the other day that talked about posting our kids' accolades as if they're ours. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to get your take on it because it made me ponder, because I am the type of person that I don't like post every day because I'm just not that person. But when I'm in the mood, I might do like 3 days and then you don't hear anything for like 6 months or 2 months or whatever.
Right.
That's kind of how I am. And I was like, well, why do I do that? And I was thinking, a lot of times it's kind of just putting it out there so I don't have to repeat myself. Remember when you were over last week and I was showing you photos on my phone?
Yeah.
Of the kids graduating because you had came over.
Right.
So I'm catching you up. And then the
Right.
next day, the neighbors come back like, oh, we didn't see the kids when they left for graduation. So I'm pulling out my phone, showing them again. I said, you know what? Let me just post so everybody can see it. And it was kind of like, here it is. My family in Kentucky can see the kids.
Right.
And, you know, they keep up with me. Both of my pages are private, so it's not, you know, out to everyone. So that's me.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, that's fine. And who cares if I want to do that? It's not my accolades, but it is my family. And there are people who are curious and want to keep up, you know, from kindergarten teachers to, you know, we've been to several schools, whatever. And I also like catching up with the other people that, you know, we knew when the kids were little.
Right.
So I just want to get your take on, do you think that that's a thing that people post their kids' accolades because it fills them up and makes them feel like it's their accolades, like I didn't graduate from 8th grade?
You know, I think it's just a sign of the times, you know, like this is the way, because I was that person that would send out announcements and send out Christmas cards, and I feel like this is a way. And we have a mutual friend from our old mommy group who I think by like the day after Thanksgiving, you were getting her Christmas card.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would be like, oh my goodness, I just want to, I kind of felt like, not so much in competition.
You felt behind.
I admired her because she would do like a whole photo shoot.
Yeah.
And they would be in matching outfits and like all of this stuff. And so I've always been like the Christmas card girl, but I would actually send out cards. I even at a point made my own cards, like Stampin' Up and all that stuff back in the day with scrapbooking and everything. But for me, now that I'm only on one social media platform, because it takes up so much time and it's very addicting.
Yeah.
And so I'm only on one, but it is my way to knock it out and let everybody kind of know what's going on. People that I'm not in touch with, and things that I don't post. I I'm sending it like in a text. So
exactly,
you know, so I've gone away from the paper cards, which I still think, because I'm still very old fashioned in that way, and I will still send cards, but I do it not so much because I'm feeling like anything for me. I'm certainly proud of my kids.
Yeah.
And I think my kids are beautiful and handsome. And but I think more for me about the posting is my kids are at the point now where they're like, let me see that. You know, like they want to approve the picture
100%.
first.
Yeah.
It's going out to the world when you think about it.
Yeah, they want to approve it, or either my kids have even said to me, you need to make your account private because
is yours public?
Mine is public.
Oh, okay.
And mine so too. Yeah, mine is public, and they're saying, oh, people are like, you know, stalking me, meaning them, and then if they're being tagged in my pictures, they're going, like my son will tell me that somebody will look on my page and see like a baby picture of him or something, and then like
capture it,
and then like send it out to the group or whatever.
Okay.
And it feels kind of weird to them. I'm imagining, but for me, I'm like, but you were so cute.
Right. But I can see where he's coming from.
And
for
them, it's kind of awkward. But for me, I'm like, you're my baby. And had social media been like out 20 years ago when I had my first baby, everybody would have had their own page. So now I am more mindful of respecting their boundaries, but I still I think it's just nice. It just wraps up your page really nice with a with a sweet little picture, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud of everything they do, but I do not post everything. Yeah, you know, I don't post everything, and so some things are just for us. Yeah, but I am respecting the boundaries, and I think. Yeah, because if I let them tell me what to do, they won't like any picture. Exactly. You know, they're so hard on themselves, and it's like it will be the most beautiful or handsome or silly picture, and they'll be like, "I look awful. Do you see my eyebrow? There's a lash popping out." You know, so I'm mindful and respectful of that, but I do it more to kind of just knock it out in one shot. Yeah. And not have to be in touch with everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't post at all. I don't post anything. When I first got on Instagram, like I would post, you know, a couple of things here and there, but then I started thinking even back then, like, why am I posting like my breakfast? Like when I'm not eating. This is so silly, you know? And just even like,
you're more Beyonce type.
Okay.
How does Beyonce do on her?
Nothing.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, very, very few things. Like her concerts, things that everybody will see. You know what I'm saying? But I never felt the need to really like show my whole like life and all other kind of stuff. Yeah. Everybody can, you know, is entitled to do whatever they want to do, but I just never wanted to do that. I thought about putting his graduation picture up, and the only reason I thought about doing that is because, you know, his dad's gone, and he has friends that his dad has friends that I do like have as friends on my Instagram page, and so they want to see how Dean is doing, see what it looks like, and so I thought about it from that perspective, and I still might. But what
stops you? Like, I know you don't feel pressed to do it. Like, ooh, let me do that.
What stops me?
But what makes you say, never mind?
One is like what you were saying about the accolades or taking credit for the accolades, and whether you're soaking up the attention for yourself versus it just being about the kid.
If it's people who care about you and that you know, they know that. I mean, who cares if somebody? I think
it's just a personal feeling. You know what I'm saying? And if I feel funny about it, so that's probably why I haven't done it, and then also because I'm like, he's not even gonna see this because he's not even old. Well, in my eyes, he's not old enough to be on Instagram, going through, oh, my mom posted this, oh, she did this, she did that.
Yeah.
So if he sees it, it's going to be years from now.
Years from now, you just see like little moments in time.
Where is Instagram going to be years from now? It's going to be a whole nother situation.
That's true.
I think all this stuff is going to be, remember, what's that, the other thing we used to put? MySpace.
MySpace.
Oh my God. Where's all our stuff from MySpace?
Yeah.
Our pictures.
I think that those platforms, even if it's not popping, it's still going to be something where you can look back and it's kind of captured.
We can't look back on MySpace?
No, but you can look back on Facebook from like 10 years ago and the memories who's even on Facebook anymore? But
I know.
The memories that pop up, just give you a little chuckle.
Yeah.
And I'm
love
sentimental like
the
that,
memories.
where I like to just timestamp things, and then I'm like, oh, I should have put something on there. So like 20 years from now, it'll like pop up, or because you forget, and our phone is filled with thousands of pictures. So I mean, it's all silly, but that's more of my why. And then I think I am the one driving them to all them practices. I am the one, so it is
halfway about you still.
Yeah, and it's a family celebration, and people like to see what's. And I also like to. I'm proud of I think one of the captions I put, my village, and I am very proud of the people who have helped me along the way. I have 2 sets of twins, 4 kids. I have wonderful, wonderful family and friends, and I do feel, as you always say, away. That people have stepped up and supported them, and I like to shine a light on that. These people are important to me, and that's sometimes my only message. I just kind of want to.
Well, that's a good and a good perspective. I just feel like for me, I'm just like, why Dean's not even looking at this, and I don't want to feel like you said, like I'm soaking up some sort of attention because, ooh, look at my son, look what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, I do want to put some of those things up that he's got going on because of his dad and the friends that he had, and those friends that are interested in what Dustin's son is doing and what he looks like.
Because he did have a huge social media presence. He had a very
huge social media presence and a whole lot of friends.
Yeah.
So, I may still do it. Yeah. But, I do text though. I do text out all the stuff that he's doing. Like I'll text pictures and
then that's
messages to family and close friends. So I text versus putting it on Instagram, social media.
Yeah, for everyone to see.
Yeah. I'm more of a voyeur. Instagram voyeur.
What is that?
I'm a stalker.
Yeah,
me too.
Yes, stalker. I know, because you do be on. We do send memes back all day, every day.
Yes.
Oh, I love the memes.
Have you seen the Michael Jackson one where he's playing sports and he's playing tennis?
No,
doing the Michael Jackson.
But now I'm gonna look it up.
No,
hilarious. It's on Snoop Dogg's page.
That one with the lady twirling her wig around, catching the Holy Ghost.
Oh Lord! And I was like,
I love them all.
Did you see that one?
I don't know.
She was twirling her wig around,
and she was
in
on
the
the ground just hookah-jucking.
I love it all.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've noticed that now that our kids are older, everything is revolving around sports. So the whole summer is basically this practice, that practice.
Sports camp.
Yeah, everything is just sports centered. And I have another question to pose to you guys. When do you think it's time for people to say, okay, you can quit a certain sport after you've started? Because a lot of 7, 8, 9-year-olds.
I say you go all the way to the end.
So
you start something, you got to finish. You don't have to go next time. But
so
since we started and paid for it, you got to go.
Because yesterday I did a garage sale at my house, and one of my girlfriends, literally her whole plethora of items that were to be sold were things that her daughter tried.
And didn't
finish. So everything was brand new. She had a brand new set of golf clubs.
No,
she sold a violin
golf
for
clubs are expensive.
Yeah. She sold a brand new pristine violin for $50.
Wow.
She's saying that Dean wants to play the violin.
Well, it was purple, but
electric purple. No.
But some gymnastic grips. I was cracking up.
All of that.
She had
Did
volleyball.
She sell all of it?
Most of it. She had volleyball things, just a ton of things. She was like, cheer bows and all kind of stuff. So I was thinking, when is it? You're saying if you start something, sign up, pay the fee, they're going to finish
you gotta
that
finish
season,
it.
and
Yes.
then the next season,
Next time you don't have
they
to
can
do it.
decide if they want to do something different.
Yeah.
That's your stance.
But you started and we paying for it,
Yeah.
and I'm taking you.
Yeah.
We're gonna finish this to the
Yeah.
end. We ride it out.
Tear
Because in the
it all,
beginning,
right?
in the beginning, it's hard, right? Like if you've
Yeah.
never done it before, or you've
Yeah.
seen your friends doing it, and your friends love it. Oh, I want to do that too. Just push, finish it. And then you don't have to do it anymore. But if we paying and I'm
Right.
using my time, which is also paying,
Yeah.
you got to finish.
That's what I usually say. We're going to do the trial class or the trial, whatever's
Right.
free, we'll start. Then you decide, once I pay the money, we're sticking with it until the season's over.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Tom?
I when my kids were young and we were in Arizona and we were in a very small community that had like a rec center that offered sports every season. So I wouldn't consult with my children if it was volleyball season. Everybody was playing volleyball.
I remember when we visited
If
you
it was soccer,
Phoenix.
everybody's playing soccer. If it was basketball, everybody's playing basketball. Because I just wanted them to be active.
Right.
I wanted them, and it was affordable, and it wasn't like when I was in LA and I was needing to run all across town here and there and here and there. It was a
Essentially
rec
located.
center. Everything was at this one place,
Yeah.
which was 5 minutes from our house.
That's a great
You
place
know,
to try things.
It was wonderful and easy. It wasn't like I'm trekking over here and I'm trekking over there. And so I just wanted my kids to be active.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted them to have exposure to everything that was out there. And
that's a good way to pick from different sports, like which one
and
you
let
like
them
the best.
let them find their passion.
Mm-hmm.
And so then once they were in school and started being able to participate in school sports, like in middle school, then I would kind of let them, do what they wanted to do, or either we would choose whatever season it was and they would try out to do it. And it was fairly I didn't get a lot of pushback from the kids. Like when they were young, it was like, I don't want to play. It's like, this is basketball season.
Right.
Everybody's playing basketball.
Basketball season.
And
At the
so
rec
Did
center.
anyone else gravitate
Everybody.
to it besides Landon?
yeah. So out of my three, I have my big girl, my oldest, is so confident at everything, very, very driven. But sports was not her thing. But that wasn't her talent. Just like
Right.
we're talking about math, like everybody had, I totally believe in those, what is it, like 7 intelligences or whatever it is. Like parents need to realize, if you're wanting your child to be this mathematician or
Right.
this
You gotta know their
artist or
gifts.
this athlete, you need to, what are their gifts and how can you nurture that?
Exactly.
And so my older daughter, she wasn't an athlete, but what she was confident, and she did not let her lack of abilities hinder her from pursuing.
Trying, yeah.
Yes.
That's a great quality.
And so it was great for her, but as a parent, we would be sitting on the sideline like,
Like, Lord, catch the ball.
like I
baby.
remember she was on in high school, like her freshman
High
year.
school. Her
High
confidence
school.
really followed her.
Woo! High school, her freshman year, she was on the basketball team, and we were in this little area in Arizona where they were very few. The diversity was limited, and so
They were like, the black girl, we gonna get the black girl.
So we're sitting in, in the school
Thought she
gym.
was Lisa Leslie.
No, she's this itty bitty thing, like a -0. And she was like, when that ball would come after to her, it was like hot potato. Like how, because she's this little bitty thing with these big old girls coming for her. So she would just be like, how the hell can I get rid of this ball? She would, as soon as she would get it, she would get rid of
Pass
it.
it.
Oh my
like
God.
so fast. She didn't care if she was throwing it to the other team. And my husband and I are sitting in the stands, and there's some people behind us. And I remember them saying, what is she doing?
No. Did
My
you turn
husband and I
around?
turned around and was like, I know, right? Like we tried she was. Like, she was
so
not
funny.
even our
I thought
daughter.
you were gonna say you guys started arguing.
yes,
He said,
that's what I
We did not argue. We were like,
co-signed.
okay. Like, even though we're both looking exactly like her. Like, it was so obvious that we were her parents. There were very few black families, but we were not claiming that
is
baby. We were like,
hilarious.
and then there was, or she would be on volleyball and she would be out there like on the sidelines, like,
she
you
looked like she
got,
fits in
oh,
with
she would be like,
volleyball.
you got this. You know, if her friends would do something, she would be pumping them up, and then she would go out there and serve and not even get the ball.
So she's a cheerleader is what you're trying to
Not
say.
even get the ball over the net. And she would be like, okay, let's go. Like, it would not faze her at all. I've even gone to a track meet. It was late. Like, she had gotten there early. She was there like to the wee. It was like 8:00 at night, and I left
Track
and
lasts
came
forever.
back. It was
track is the worst.
it was forever. So I came back at the end. She's like, I'm doing the last event. Come get me. Pick, you don't have to come until like 8. So the last event was like
Cross country 400.
yeah, the relay. The
Okay,
relay.
4x4.
The
4x4,
relay,
yes.
right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, where is my child? Like, the race was practically over. I see my baby like jogging like a cute little, she was the third in the relay. Like, somebody, she still
So
had
this is a 4x4 means she's gonna run around the whole track.
thing.
Ugh,
She still
the
had to
worst.
trade off to somebody else. I see my baby jogging like,
Was everyone
Prancing.
past her?
she was looking so cute. Like, she was looking real cute. But I was like, what is happening? I didn't even know she was in the race. She jogged her pretty little self around and still had to the race was over.
Girl,
Still had to pass the baton
I know
to
they
number
was.
4.
But she
And
was-
that person,
she was confident and
she
cute.
was just like, I told them that this is not my event.
So she just
I was helping somebody else, and I'm sorry. And
You said
again,
it was over.
the race was over.
It was her and the last
like, they
person,
were
the
doing
last
like
leg.
a watermelon toss at that point. Like, it was over. She was not phased at all. And again, I was acting like I didn't know who she was. But the middle, my middle child is a natural athlete. She's so good at everything, at track, at volleyball, at soccer, like everything. But it's not her thing.
Really?
like
And she's
sports.
naturally good at it? But she's very artsy, though.
And that's her thing. That's her passion.
So she has 2 talents.
That's her passion.
Imagine being good at everything
Yes,
you do.
that's her passion, is in the arts and all things creative. But she is our natural born athlete. And she is so much better and talented than her older sister, but she lacks the confidence that her sister had. And so she ended up on a team with a coach that just broke her spirit. It was,
What sport was this?
It was volleyball, and it was a club team that was very expensive. They let her on the team, even though they had their team that they
She
had
did
been
well,
with.
but something happened.
No, she made it on the team, but it was a team that was already stacked with girls that had been there for years.
So she was the newbie.
So she was the newbie, and she barely got any play, and it just broke her spirit. And so in situations like that, we're like, no.
So did you start and then you let her quit?
She finished out
Okay.
the time because we paid thousands of dollars, you know. We finished out the time, but it just really broke her spirit as far as wanting to continue.
Why don't you do that again?
And so we did in that instance. We let her stop. But then there was also the issue, you know, then COVID came, and then, you know,
Let me
all
ask
of
you a
that.
question, Don. When you saw that this was happening, the breakdown on the team and in her, did you speak to any of the coaches or the staff at all?
I think she would ask us not to because she didn't
they typically don't want you to come in there whining.
She didn't want us to say anything. She kind of understood what was happening, and she was just like, I'm just not going to do it again. And so we supported her in that way. But when she was ready again to, she recently was wanting to try sports again, and specifically volleyball. And she didn't make the team, but she said she was because again, she's new. This team is already in place and established. But she said she was so proud of herself that she went out and she did very.
That's a win, right there.
And she did very well.
Yeah,
and so
and that's what it's about.
And being proud of yourself.
That's what my husband told one of our sons the other day, because they did Little League for 8 years.
Yeah.
And loved it. Really, really loved it. And now I have one son that wants to continue playing baseball and one son that wants to pursue another sport, which I'm like, you don't have to. He felt guilty that he was going to leave baseball. And I was like, you don't have to.
He had been doing it for so long.
To it forever. It's okay to want to switch sports.
Does he still love it, or he wants to do something different?
He still likes it. He doesn't love it. Okay. So you have to love it to go
continue,
out there and go into the travel realm of it.
Yeah.
But the son that wants to stay with baseball, he's so nervous about the travel team, and he's like, I'm not. Every time I say, okay, tryouts, because there's 3 different dates,
and he always has his buffer, which is his brother,
right? And so I'm like, tryouts are coming up for the the new travel team. It's going to be this date, or this date. Oh, I'm not ready. So my husband had to tell him, like, sometimes you just have to get out there. And taking the first step is the hardest part, and then everything else will fall in place. Yeah, will fall into place.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck forever talking about I'm not ready. And I was like, that's such a good point. Just pushing them out there to go to the next step, because it's such a new world. But he's also, baseball is extremely competitive, so he's like, he knows what he needs to look like in order to excel. And the kids these days just think that they're going to start being the best day one.
This absolutely work.
Yeah, you need to work for that. But they're so used to this instant gratification, like I gotta go there, be ready, have my trainer, this and that. I'm like, no, it takes time. You got to build on those skills.
Absolutely.
So it's fascinating. So now my other son, we finally got the green light for him to play football.
I think he's going to excel.
Yeah, it has been. We've always said.
Did your husband play football?
He did it. Everybody in the 80s and 90s, our parents was like,
get out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Come over.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But William especially has always been like, no football.
Right.
It's too dangerous.
Because of all the,
I don't want you out there getting hurt. Like, we've always led them, to try other sports that never put football out there. But for whatever reason, this boy has fallen in love with the sport that he has never played. He's been carrying a football out this door to school every day under his arm.
It's a fun sport. It's a fun sport to watch. It's fun to play. I've never played it, but it's fun to be there. The atmosphere, the gladiator yelling, and it's a really fun sport. But playing it, I'm sure, is even more fun.
Wrestle, and he's a physical type of child, so. It took a lot, but I just wanted him the opportunity to be able to at least try and see what happens. And, we've educated ourselves on, what type of team is safe to play with and, but we're going to let him do it.
Yeah. I think that's great. I know my son, who has loved basketball since he was a baby, as a freshman starting out, he made it on the high school team. On the Frosh team.
Wait a minute, Don. So 6, 7, 8th grade, he was only on campus for half of the 8th grade.
No, he was there the whole year.
8th grade year? Oh, okay.
He was there the whole year for 8th grade.
Oh, okay.
6th grade was his year where he was there just half the year.
Okay.
And
then the pandemic.
It was they were starting track was what was happening during that time. And so 7th was all online, and then 8th grade, even though he was in person, they didn't have sports because of COVID at his school. And we were new to the area. We hadn't explored all the club stuff. And so he was rusty, but he made it onto the freshman team at his high school. And even though we had let the coach know that this was a situation, I was thinking, and the coach was Black, so I'm thinking like, okay, this is a good thing. We were looking for someone who was going to nurture him, and it wasn't that way at all. And again, it was a situation where it was like he just broke him down. And that's what I don't like. It's difficult for me.
It's a lot of kids experiencing that.
That's so hard. And as an educator, it really bothers me because, you go into this field working with children, and you would think it's because you're wanting to build children up, and when they have those experiences with people who aren't taking different personalities. My son is very sensitive, and even though he has the talent, he was certainly rusty. He has the size, he has the skill, but one part of it, and I talked to my husband about it, is that my husband's like, he has to be more aggressive. He has to be more aggressive. I was doing this when I was doing that. But I'm telling him too, but he's my child too. And I am nobody's athlete. Like, I did not care. Like, you choose me last to be on the team, I don't care, because I'm not about to run to get the ball. I'm not about to slide and get dirty. I'm not trying to get sweaty.
Right.
All that stuff. I didn't care. I was very nonchalant as a child. And so the other piece with my son, and I tell my husband, I'm like, he's a lover, not a fighter. You're wanting this child to be aggressive, and that's not his nature. And
you mean on the court, or just
on the
going
court.
outside and practicing,
on the court,
anything like that?
On the court,
yeah.
On the court. And so,
especially these days, these kids are aggressive. They play like NBA players almost.
No, he's not. And so I feel like that piece is tricky, of wanting to encourage your child to do something that they love to do when maybe it's not really where their gift is. And so what we're trying to do at this point is find a way to, nurture him and still make sure he's doing what he needs to do, because
and getting what he needs.
And getting what he needs. And I think he feels like, oh, I'm tall, I'm handsome, that's
enough. That's enough.
I'm talented, I'm wearing all the gear, but he is, and for me as a mom, I think it's sweet. I remember when he was little and on a co-ed team, he was playing and he was running and he had accidentally elbowed this girl. He stops to make sure the girl is okay.
Oh, he really is a love fighter.
He's so sweet. This girl takes the ball from my baby, runs down the court and makes the shot. And he's still there like, is she okay? Is she okay? And so I love that about my son.
But sometimes they build that up, because my son is similar too.
Yeah.
He's not that personality, but because he knows that's what it takes, we can see it happening and happening and happening and happening. Yeah. And even, with his brothers who they wrestle and all that, he's like way tougher now than he was 2 years ago with just wrestling and fighting them. So it sometimes, even though they're nice kids, it does build up, because they know that they need that on the court. Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, they're going to get eaten alive.
Run over.
Yeah. So I think there's, a fine line in trying to find the balance of supporting your kids' passions and making sure that they're not being eaten alive and just their spirit being broken. Yeah. And finding what their other passions are.
Exactly. And that's a thing that we also keep in their minds all the time, is that this is not
just one thing.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah.
You don't have to play a sport. Number one,
Right.
I want them to when they were little to keep them active and introduce them to things. But their high school career does not have to be sports oriented. If you want to stop and pursue other things, by all means do it. Because I'm not banking on necessarily a sport to get you to college.
Right.
You're smart. You can get an academic scholarship. There's a lot of options. So that's not the only thing. And I think that's important, especially in our community, to keep our kids knowing that it
isn't
doesn't.
just about basketball, football.
Exactly.
That's not going to make you rich.
Right.
You can be a doctor. You can be a lawyer.
And to have realistic expectations,
Right.
and have something to fall back on, because my husband talked about how depressed he was after being in college playing basketball and got injured and wasn't able to play anymore.
Right.
Now, was he on a trajectory to go somewhere with basketball? Was he going overseas? What was his...
He was doing very well. He had actually gone overseas right out of high school and played, did some special program in China. But he was playing college basketball. He had played high school. He had played college basketball.
College did Martin go to?
We were both at CSUN.
Okay.
And so he, was on a scholarship for basketball. And I think his sophomore year, he got injured. And he said he was very depressed because, you have these kids who are thinking like, I'm going to the NBA, or I'm, and
their identity
not having,
is built on that.
Absolutely.
They form these ideas and dreams in their head as to where it's going to take them, how much money they're going to make,
absolutely,
what type of life they're going to have.
Absolutely.
Right. Every 13-year-old kid who's playing basketball thinks they're going to make it to the NBA. And I tell them, what's the next plan? Because that might happen.
You have to have a plan B.
Have another plan.
What else are we excited about?
You have to have a plan B, and that's the piece that's so important, and that's what we're trying to talk to my son about now. What's your plan B? Because we don't know what his other passions are. And so understanding the reality of how many people are chosen to go to the NBA and like truly have a career is slim to none, you know, and so that's what's important to me of making sure that my kids are doing something that they are passionate about, and that they have a plan B. And I think that goes back to when we were talking about social media and posting things about our kids' accolades. I feel like for me, my kids are all different. And so I want to make sure even in that I'm giving equal attention, because I have one child who's a very high achiever, very driven, and I'm posting all these fabulous things that she's doing, and I want to make sure that the other kids absolutely not all of my kids are going to go to Howard, not all of my kids are going to, and even with my daughter that's at Howard, she's having a really good reality check, because she's been, top of her class and, high GPA and all that. But when you get to certain schools, everybody's like that. That's everybody.
And that's what I love about those humbling experiences.
You
one minute you're up here and you're riding the waves, and that's okay.
And so my daughter sent me a message the other day, and she's like, are you working? I'm like, it's Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Of course I'm working.
Yes.
But I knew that it was something. And she called to tell me about, she was just down because she hadn't done well. She took statistics as a freshman. I was like, why? What counselor would sign a freshman up for statistics? I took statistics as my last class and begged the professor to pass me. I was like, will you please give me a D, because I'm starting grad school in 2 weeks? And he was like, who let you in a grad school? I was like, listen here.
That's beside the point.
Listen here, buddy. What's up? Can a sister pass the class or not? So who let you in? Like, come on now. So that's the part of helping your kids through that. And so she was just so down, and she's like, Mom, this is so hard for me because school was the one thing I felt like I did so well.
Yeah.
And I said to her, this is your time. This is your time to experience this because life is hard.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's summer school. There's this, there's that, and you can't beat yourself up.
So where did her grade point get to? 3.5?
Right.
Because I know it couldn't have got any lower than that.
Right. And so.
But for those type of kids, it's like the end of the
But
world.
for those kids, like those perfectionists, it's the end of the world for them.
Yeah.
And I have to. And what I appreciate is
that's
that
not a fun way to live.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's so
Very hard on herself.
It's so hard. And so for her to be able to trust me and talk to me, and I'm not that parent that's like, you better get I'm not that parent because I know how hard it is, and I know she's gonna be harder on herself than anybody else.
Yeah.
And I know that she's done her best, but even saying, as long as you do your best, I know for her best is 100%. And I'm trying to teach her and remind her nothing is perfect.
What's her major?
Nothing is perfect. She just transferred to the School of Business and Marketing.
From what?
From maybe like psychology or something like that.
Everybody starts out with psychology.
Of course. And I know for her, psychology was very interesting because she's learning about herself,
right?
And all the ways that you're trying to figure it out. I know when I was in grad school for therapy, it was like this was my therapy,
right?
And trying to figure things out. Or when I became a school counselor, it was because I wanted to be able to help other students so that they wouldn't have some of those negative experiences that I had in high school.
Yeah.
And so, you find those things that are your passion, but I also talk to her about, but you also want to make sure you're choosing something where you're going to be able to take care of yourself and not have to depend on anyone else.
Right.
And so, and girls specifically that are smart in science and math, that the world is wide open.
Yeah.
The world is
lots of choices.
Wide open.
Yeah.
And so she's going to be just fine. But being able to give her permission to say, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Right. You can get an F. And that is not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world.
That is, I mean, kids are killing themselves, committing suicide
Literally. Over that.
Over poor grades.
Yeah.
And that should not happen.
Right.
That should not happen.
Do you think that the social media coming into play is a part of this thing with people feeling that they need to be perfect just from the inside out, just everything that they do? Like, where did this need to be perfect come from?
I think a lot of it is just innate. It's just your personality. You have people who are... She has been a perfectionist since she was born, and I know a lot of that is me as well. And so
pushing that on her, or
no, that's part of my.
But do you mean physically or just all
that's
around?
part of my personality,
all the way around? Because I think it comes from the way that you look, like aesthetically, like your hair being perfect, your lashes being perfect, your weight being perfect. You making perfect decisions, just everything.
Just the presentation of your life
just
being
everything.
Perfect.
Because the presentation of you looking perfect means you are pulling someone else perfect off of, wherever to be a partner for you or to like you or to accept you.
Yeah.
It's just...
But even before social media, I mean, I remember being in high school and faking like I was sick because I was having a bad hair day, and like I can't go
because that's where my perfection comes. I
can't go to school, right?
Sometimes if I didn't look right,
I ain't going. We had lots of conversations and tips about our kids growing up and accolades. Let us know what you think about this episode. Subscribe. We are the Middle-Aged Mamas. Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for listening. You can follow us on Instagram at 3_MAMA.s. And you can also write to us at middleagedmamas@gmail.com for any comments or questions you might have.